Hey, First Prize listeners. Thanks for joining us on our first season of our show.
We did it.
We did
mostly. The thing.
Sorta.
We tried our best.
Kinda.
Well, thanks for hanging out. We had a really good time.
We had an absolute blast. We had 8 episodes, 16 movies, a lot of fuck bombs, a lot of
trial and error in there. Lots of mistakes were made. Let's just say that.
lot of blood, sweat, and especially tears.
Disturbing amounts of tears.
So we thought we would just go ahead and give you guys a little recap episode, kind of do a quick once-over of the entire season, give you our favorites, our least favorites, our favorite moments, stuff like that.
Yeah, we got to look back at this horrible nightmare that we forced you all to go on with us. We appreciate you guys. It's been so much fun.
It's not enough that you went through it one time. We're going to make you go through it again.
Ha-ha!
The episodes.
All right, so episode 1, we did action movies. We did F9 2021 versus Speed 1994. Dave, this was your fucking idea.
Yes.
This is our pilot episode. Okay, when we first came up with the concept of this podcast, we decided to wait a little bit, really flesh everything out. We wanted to get it right.
Yes.
So we did our first episode in October 21, and we realized we did nothing right. We did literally nothing right the entire time.
It was so not great. Like, we fucked that up so bad.
We did a tremendously bad job. It's quite embarrassing. But I will say, we did have fun doing it. And it was supposed to be a kind of proof of concept episode, but we did have a lot of fun, so we decided to release it as episode 1.
We did, yes.
We got a lot of feedback, Dave.
Yes, we did. A lot of it from ourselves.
Mostly us looking on in horror at what we had created and thus unleashed into the world. Going into something not exactly knowing what you're doing, kind of feeling it out, we really solidified a lot of our structure and stuff through this episode.
Yeah, we really figured our way through this one. It fucking shows, man. That episode was 7 hours long.
Oh my god. The record for that episode was so fucking long, and I'm sure everybody can hear like 40 cuts per minute in the final run episode. We had to like string our words and thoughts together to make it coherent.
Actually, I'm pretty sure that episode was only 4 hours long, wasn't it? Or 5 hours?
I don't know. It felt like a fever dream, to be honest with you, with some pizza in there at one point.
There was. Oh, that pizza was good. I can't wait to have more of it, to be honest with you.
It was great. But we recorded that in October 2021.
Yes, we did.
And then we went and recorded another batch of episodes. God, however many months later? It was months later.
It was February. It was February 22.
It took a while before we recorded our next batch of episodes.
Yes.
But with action, we both came to an agreement, right?
Yes, we did. Absolutely. We came to an agreement, which I was going to say it's surprising, but come on, it's F9.
We chose Speed as our winner. F9 was a horrible nightmare that Dave made me watch.
First of many.
There's so many. So fucking many. But, you know, it was really fun. Speed definitely won. I kind of rediscovered my love for that movie. I rediscovered a lot of things this season, but Speed was definitely a great one. And man, I love that movie.
Yeah, it's a pretty good one. You know, it's very nostalgic.
100%. So our next episode, which we didn't record till months later.
Yeah, February of 22.
Yeah, and we thought we were ready to record some more episodes.
We totally fucking weren't.
We came in so fucking confident and realized we were in way over our heads.
We were so cocky, like, yeah, we did one episode. We know what we're doing now. And we fucking, we smacked ourselves in the fucking face with a 2x4.
Dude, it was not good. It was not good because we not only do we write all the episodes and stuff, but we also record the bumpers ourselves. We edit everything ourselves. We mix everything ourselves. We do all our marketing. We did all our own branding. We do literally everything.
That's a little fun fact for you First Prize listeners, that quite literally everything that you hear right now, we do in-house.
We even did our intro music. All the music you hear in all of our episodes is us as well. We do get a lot of help when we stream on Twitch every week from my brother Jordan. He is our technical advisor. He handles that. But on our episodes, everything you hear, everything that's done, everything on social media, that's just Dave and I.
Yes.
So that's a lot.
It's a lot.
And when we got into our post-apocalypse episode, we found that not only were we worrying about the episodes and all the technical shit behind it, but we also had to think, do these movies even actually make sense competing against each other? Yeah. And I'm gonna tell you one thing, episode 2 was not thought out in that way. It was not. I thought we were gonna have so much fun with Escape from LA, and Dave's like, cool, I'm choosing I Am Legend. I'm like, ha ha ha, things are fine. They're not fine. These two movies do not work together at all. No. I had so many people who were not fucking happy.
You know what would have been smarter is to do Escape from New York versus Escape from LA.
Except for they're essentially the same plot, so it might have been boring.
Fair point, yeah.
We should have done I Am Legend versus something else, because Escape from LA isn't even really a post-apocalypse movie. We kind of made some executive decisions, you know, it's in a post-apocalyptic landscape. We thought it was fine. Anyway, that movie did not win. No, I Am Legend won.
That movie sucks.
Man, and I like John Carpenter. I really do. And I remember really liking this movie. It does not hold up, even in the slightest.
No. And
God damn.
you do definitely slob on the Carpenter knob. And you were really pumped, and I think you were even really pumped, even leading up to the episode, having watched it. As soon as we started, you were like, oh.
No, I wouldn't say as soon as we started. I'd say halfway through the episode, you might be able to hear the moment where I was like, oh, fuck. Oh, no. I knew I was going to pick I Am Legend, but halfway through Escape from LA, I realized this is not as fun as I thought it was going to be.
This movie sucks.
This movie is fucking bad. And I like bad movies, but this was was pushing my limits.
This is the kind of bad that for me is just not, you can't really enjoy.
Yeah, I like way shittier movies technically and plot wise and stuff, but this was really fucking boring for like 20 minutes, and then it was just kind of little blips of action with quirky characters who were way too self-aware for what it was trying to be. It was just you know, love John Carpenter. This didn't do it for me.
No.
You know what did do it for me, Dave?
What?
Our next Nightmare episode 3, martial arts. We did Mortal Kombat 2021 versus The Protector 2005.
Yeah, and listen, I picked Mortal Kombat, obviously. I have a Mortal Kombat sleeve. We all know that by now. But I did it out of, like, martial arts. It's a martial arts tournament, Mortal Kombat, so that works, right?
Very misguided.
Nope. the loosest sense of the word is it a martial arts film. Like, it's because it's there. You know, it's just like how F9's about street racing, just because they have fast cars in it.
No, it's a good point, actually, because I really liked The Protector. I hadn't seen it in a long time, and I was really excited to see it. And there's so much great martial arts in it and stuff. So I was excited for Mortal Kombat because Dave was excited. I know nothing about it and didn't going in. And about halfway through the movie, I was like, okay, this is fine. But about halfway through, I was like, wait, this is a martial arts episode. Where are the martial arts?
Yeah.
When does that happen? And then when does the fucking Mortal Kombat even happen? You're fucking 0 for 2 on that episode, my dude.
Listen, make no mistake, I fucking loved that movie. I think it's the better movie overall.
It's the more cohesive actual movie.
Yes, but that's not what we're doing here. So, like, you know, The Protector did win. Because, you know, when you think of martial arts movies, you do think of a very specific kind of movie where it's like, it's just a bunch of fight scenes and someone would just spat out a fucking plot to just kind of rub together.
Right.
Mortal Kombat didn't do that. It had like a cohesive storyline. It had character arcs, all that stuff, and it focused on those things. Which is why, you know, inevitably was its downfall, which is a weird sentiment. But, but you know, The Protector was fucking badass. You know, Tony Jaa, he's, you know, very famous martial artist, and you went over this in the episode, but he helped choreograph, you know, a lot of the fight scenes. So it was fun. I still don't know what the fuck happened in it other than bones breaking everywhere and elephants being there. But
I get it. And for me, what's interesting now that we're talking about this again, I think I said in the episode, Mortal Kombat's the more technically well put together film for sure. I might have said it's the better film, but The Protector is a better martial arts film. I gotta be honest with you now, we're however many months removed from this, I don't remember Mortal Kombat. I don't remember it. It just does not stick with me. Whereas I keep thinking about The Protector. I see somebody out on the beach doing a cartwheel or something, and I'm like, oh shit! Remember that scene in The Protector? So that movie has really stuck with me more than I anticipated it actually doing. And watch it. Go watch that movie. I recommend it highly. It might be one of my most recommended films of this season.
Also, for legal purposes, go watch all of the movies that we have on our show.
You should definitely go watch all these movies. Probably. Well, if we're speaking about legal things, we definitely have to talk about our next episode that made me want to actually take you to court. This is our most contentious episode, hands down, of the season. And we get this on the stream every week. Somebody is bringing up the Halloween versus Scream slasher horror film episode, our episode 4. This fucking thing. Oh my God. I asked Dave, and I said this in the episode, I asked him, I was like, cool, let's do slasher movies. And he's like, great idea. And I was like, cool. I was like, I have to do Scream. I'm open to picking the better genre movie here. Just because I'm attached to something like I was Escape from LA is not the best post-apocalypse movie. And I'm fine with that. I want to choose the best. So Dave says Halloween, and I say, cool, great. He chose the Rob Zombie Halloween, and I gave this thing a chance. Oh my God, what a nightmare, and not in a good way. This thing sucks. It sucks so fucking bad.
Listen,
I'm sweating just thinking about this.
Blake and I will disagree with this till we fucking are in our graves, okay? Because he put me between a rock and a hard place. Granted, I also did that to myself, but
yes, you did.
I had to pick between a shitty Rob Zombie remake of a, let's be honest, shitty story.
You haven't seen the original, though, so you can't say that.
Sure I can. It's the same story.
It's not even close to the same story. But go on, Dave. Go on with your self-righteous bullshit. Go on. Come on.
So I had to choose between that and a shitty movie that had a shitty villain with a shitty story and shitty jokes.
Wow.
So
not holding back on this one, are you, bud?
Listen, the stream's gonna come at me anyways. I'm gonna fucking unload. All right. The episode is horror slasher films. It is not comedy slasher films. And Scream is a comedy movie. Period.
Full-blown disagree.
You can disagree all you want. It's the facts. When your villain walks around like he's a cartoon character and he fucking has a voice modulator and still changes his voice to sound even worse, and there's fucking meta moments every 30 goddamn seconds, it's not a good horror film. So I literally had to choose a turd on a platter because technically it was the better horror slasher film.
I'm not going to restate all my points from the episode, but I am just going to tell you that Scream is a deftly written film that was really thought out, whereas Halloween, it's so boring and it's so not fun, and it's not even a good film. It's not even a good cohesive film. Scream, whether you dislike the meta moments or not, is an actual movie with an actual beginning and end and arcs for all the characters. Halloween just fucking shits the bed. Frame 1 to the closing credits, dude.
Listen,
there are good moments of scares in it, yes, but it is not a fucking good film.
I said it in the episode, and I'll say it again. You're right. Halloween is not a good movie. Okay, Scream is a good movie. But the number one thing when it comes to horror films of any subgenre is how scary it is. Okay, and Scream is not scary, so it cannot be a better horror film than one that has you jump out of your seat a couple of times. It can't. You can't say that.
I disagree. Scares are very subjective. I think it's scary. Obviously, we're still at odds with this episode. We don't play this shit up for the microphones here. We really love movies, and we also really hate each other. So,
listen. Last thing that I will say on episode 4, and the reason why, in my head, I guess, you think that Scream is scary is because you think cartoons are scary.
I do think cartoons are scary. Anyway, moving on to episode 5. You fuck. I regret this already, man. We're halfway through the recap.
We do have to explain, though, that Halloween won because we tied on who we picked, and we had to call a tiebreaker, which is my buddy Jeff, and he agreed with me.
Yeah, so Dave chose himself as the first tiebreaker call. He's like, I got the guy. And he calls his friend who's like, yeah, I'm going to choose whatever Dave said. Just saying, this is rigged. This whole show is rigged. It's a fucking sham. Anyway,
Loser says what?
It was a time. What?
Episode 5.
It's me. I'm the loser. So if we're telling the behind-the-scenes story,
yes.
the Slashers episode was the last of that recording bunch.
Yes.
And then we took a month off to edit and get shit together since it's a pretty long process. We came back, and we came back hard with episode 5, which is science fiction movies.
Yeah.
We talked about Inception 2010 versus Total Recall 1990, the Arnold version.
The only version that matters. And listen, Inception.
True.
This was a great episode for me because Inception's in my top, 3 to 5 favorite movies of all time. Mm-hmm. And then also, I'm a huge space nerd. And like, Total Recall is like on Mars. So it's like in space. We talk about Saturn. We doing space cruise. This was, oh my God, this episode was so much fucking fun for me. I can't even begin to explain how much fun this was.
So Dave typically chooses the newer movies. He chose Inception. I chose Total Recall 1990. And my choice, Dave, this was my olive branch after the Scream Halloween debacle.
I appreciate
that. I was
that.
like, we have 4 more episodes to get through. I'm going to offer up something good for Dave, something that he'll like, hopefully. And I think I succeeded.
You did. You fucking nailed it on this one.
I love Inception as well. It's definitely up there for one of my favorite movies, but I also really love Total Recall. And I wasn't sure, based off of memory, exactly how they were going to play together. I was nervous it was going to be an I Am Legend Escape from L.A. situation, but when I actually watched the movies back to back, I was like, fuck, these are good together.
These are fantastic. They're both about dreams, essentially.
Yeah, and what's real, what isn't, essentially, it's great. I think they thematically complement each other a lot, and I had a blast at this episode too. Just not only revisiting the movies, but talking about them with you. You're very passionate about space stuff. I don't give a fuck, but I like to engage in conversation that is passionate. So I was sucked into this thing, and at the end of the day, we both decided that Inception was the better sci-fi film.
Yes, we did, because it is.
It is, but special commendations to Total Recall.
Oh, 100%.
You should watch them both together. It's a fun pairing.
It's one that you don't expect to work, but it does.
I 100% agree with you. And another good pairing, I think not to like pat ourselves on the back here, but I think our next episode 6, was a pretty good pairing as well.
Oh, 100%.
We did Alien Invasion Horror. We did A Quiet Place 2018 versus Signs 2002.
Also, I would say this is probably our second most contentious ending because I still don't agree with you.
So to be perfectly clear and preface this whole thing, I have nothing against A Quiet Place. I really like the movie. I like both of these movies. And honestly, I just picked Signs thinking it's an alien invasion horror movie. It gets a lot of flack. I wanted to revisit it myself, but I really wasn't expecting to be taken with it the way I was. Something about that movie really sucked me in, and I could not get it out of my head. I understand people are going to be pissed at me for a minute on this one. I'm sure of it. And that's fine. I accept your criticism. But at the end of the day, I had to go with my gut and choose Signs. It told such a layered story, and I just couldn't stop with it. I really couldn't.
Yeah, and that's fair. But I gotta say, you get taken by some of these movies that neither one of us expects you to. And then you get so taken with it, you pick it, even if it doesn't really follow the genre. Like,
you say that, but I disagree with you. We talked through all of our points, and Signs, the only thing that was really lacking with it was the like alien design. It was like kind of shitty CG and stuff, and like the motivation with the water thing. But I think despite those shortcomings, this movie really, really shines, and I think it totally takes the alien invasion horror genre and does something really unique with it that sticks with you, in my opinion, more than A Quiet Place. A Quiet Place was huge at the time, and it's still a great movie, and I love it.
Yeah.
But Signs really did that thing where it took the genre, and I think it screwed into all these tropes and stuff, and was able to pull out something bigger and deeper out of these tropes, which in my opinion makes it a really, really great genre movie. Agree with me or not, I have my actual reasons. This is not just a nostalgia pick for me. I want to be very clear.
I know, I just think they're misplaced because, well, at least one of them is, because I'm going to preface this by saying I loved Signs. I really thought it was a great movie. But the reason why A Quiet Place, in my opinion, is the far better alien invasion movie is because the fucking invasion part of Signs happens while they're in the basement. They're literally just hide in the basement and then the alien invasion part's gone. So you're left with all the other aspects of the movie, which are great, but the alien aspect is like a kind of an afterthought. Whereas in A Quiet Place, the aliens are the reason why they're in the fucking predicament that they're in, and you see the aliens throughout. They're at odds with these aliens throughout the entire movie. Whereas with Signs, they're not, kind of at all.
Here's the thing. You mentioned they're in the basement for the alien invasion.
Yeah.
The alien invasion in A Quiet Place has happened fucking months and months before this. So there's no actual alien invasion in A Quiet Place, if we're being honest. We're just dealing with the aliens. So for me, the alien invasion in Signs tempers and tones the entire movie. It sets up so perfectly this eerie drawing because the invasion is kind of happening already. It's not just one night thing. The crop circles keep popping up all over the world, and we get pulled into this slowly as it ramps up. So it totally colors the feelings and emotions surrounding this family in turmoil. And so for me, that's why it really, really stuck with me.
Before we move on, I will say, like, again, I'm not like bummed that Signs won. I just don't agree.
So after that mild fiasco, I guess we moved
I think
on.
it was more of a fiasco in this recap than it was in the actual episode.
That's actually a good point. But it was still fun. I still got something out of it, for sure. And we were barreling right along. And we moved into episode 7. We did monster movies.
Oh, totally.
We did Godzilla, King of the Monsters, 2019 versus Cloverfield, 2008.
It was kind of a clusterfuck picking these movies because...
Totally.
You know, we picked Cloverfield first. You picked Cloverfield first. You said you wanted to do Cloverfield. And I was like, all right, cool. Well, the obvious choice to go up against is Godzilla because you can't do a monster movie without Godzilla.
Right.
We have our 10-year gap that we have to have. That's the whole point of our show. Yep. Old versus new. And I picked Godzilla King of Monsters, which I didn't know was a sequel until till I had already picked it. But the one before that isn't 10 years away from Cloverfield. So we kind of were like, well, shit.
Yeah,
so
it ended up being all right. I said this in the episode, but I'd never seen Cloverfield. People still talk about this movie all the time, and I'm like,
it's a fantastic
fuck it,
movie.
Let's do it. That was my choice. And Dave, I'm glad you chose Godzilla King of the Monsters. I think it was a really fun episode. I don't know much about Godzilla, but we brought in our resident monster movie aficionado, our friend Eva.
She actually encouraged us to do this episode. It just happens that Blake picked her favorite movie of all time. So it worked out perfectly.
I was going into this episode, as I go into all of these, with an open mind, wanting to choose the best genre film. And man, Cloverfield was so good, and I'm so pissed at myself that I had not seen Cloverfield sooner. I saw 10 Cloverfield Lane before I saw Cloverfield. But man, it was so much fun. And I'm glad I also got to see Godzilla because I know nothing. And it was still a fun monster fight romp. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I enjoyed it too. It was hard to make jokes about, if I'm being honest.
Agreed, actually.
You know, a lot of the funny moments were pretty much jokes in the script itself. So that was a little bit difficult. But with Godzilla King of Monsters, it was just kind of a giant clusterfuck because of all the shit going on. So it's kind of hard to keep track of. But I think we did a pretty good job.
It was fun, and honestly, Eva was there to kind of keep us on track, because Godzilla is a pretty long movie.
It was fucking 2+ hours, something like that.
Yeah, it was a commitment, whereas Cloverfield was 80 minutes, like, front to back. It was great. It was very efficient. So that was really fun, because I don't watch many monster movies, but I do want to watch more.
That's so funny, because I watched monster movies a lot growing up. I watched most of the Godzillas, and I've had my fill. I don't ever need to. Actually, I did watch Kong and then Skull Island and stuff like that. But and those are technically monster movies, but I'm good.
Fair enough, man. We kind of came out of this going opposite directions. I find that
so
interesting.
funny.
And I also find it interesting. We ended up agreeing on this one as well.
Yeah.
We chose Cloverfield.
And Eva chose with us.
And Eva chose Cloverfield as well. Turns out, yeah, it is her favorite movie. So that was a shoo-in. But we only really disagreed up until this point, and I guess still in our recap we're disagreeing, on 2 episodes.
Yeah.
Which is 4 and 6. But on the coattails of found footage movies with Cloverfield,
Yes,
we moved
yes.
right along into episode 8, our final episode of the season. Found footage horror, we had to do Paranormal Activity 2009 versus Blair Witch Project 1999.
Yeah, and this was an interesting episode because starting out, Paranormal Activity was probably my favorite scary movie. It is not anymore. And this is the first time I would say that Blake actually changed my mind with his arguments and his thought processes on this movie. But this was a cultural phenomenon because it was probably one of the, since the Blair Witch Project, I think it was one of the first in the horror genre anyways, because it was done on such a low budget. It's a very similar idea in the sense that we never see the bad guy. We never see the entity that they're out to find. Granted, in Paranormal Activity, Katie gets possessed by it, but whatever. Arguably, it could just be that Mika drove her crazy. Who knows?
That's very true. God, fuck that asshole. I hate that guy so fucking much. I was pretty looking forward to this episode too, and not because I love found footage horror, for the opposite reason. I really dislike it. In a general sense, I really dislike it, and I was like, "Fuck this! I'm choosing Blair Witch Project. It is the original, really popular one, not the first, but really popular." People also gave me shit for this because Paranormal Activity on like IMDb and stuff, it says it came out in 2007, which, while kind of true in terms of its like festival run and stuff, it didn't actually premiere on a big, grand, like wide release scale until 2009 when like Universal Pictures or Paramount or whoever bought it and released it. So yes, technically it got originally released in 2007, but the entire world and nation didn't see it till 2009. We make the rules here, so we let it go.
Exactly. It's our show, it's our rules. Fuck off.
10 years. But dude, I was mad.
I've never seen you so mad in a fucking episode. Usually a little behind the scenes factoid for you guys. We write these jokes to make each other laugh.
Yeah.
And this one was hard for me because I was writing some in my head. I was like, this is a good one. This is a funny joke. And I would make the joke and look at Blake and he's fucking fuming. Like he's just so mad. I'm like, okay, next one.
I was not the best co-host this episode. Because I think here's the thing. If I'm being honest with you, like we like to poke fun at each other and stuff in jest. And I watched Paranormal Activity and I was mad directly at you and because of you for making me fucking watch this movie. It just was such a waste of time for me. Yeah. And I love the Blair Witch Project. I didn't like it really necessarily going in. I didn't really care about either of these things. I love it. I love it. It's so good.
It was very good.
It's brilliant. And I saw it in a whole new light. And I saw Paranormal Activity in a whole new light as well. Just in the worst possible light. I was so angry. This film wasted my time and stole my life from me. And I was really fucking mad at it. So I'm sorry I was a bad co-host.
No, it's okay. We made it work. I will say this though. The Blair Witch, when I finished watching it for the episode, I was in full light. And as soon as it ended, I was like, well, not sure how I'm going to sleep tonight, but yeah.
We also mentioned this in the episode. When you and I were younger, we used to break into abandoned buildings and stuff and just explore. This movie, The Blair Witch Project, retroactively made me scared of what we did when we were younger because we were dumb.
How stupid it was.
But we weren't very scared. We were like excited.
No.
But like who fucking knows what could have been in those places? What people, again, not that I'm like retroactively scared of ghosts, but like it just made me think like what kind of shit could we have actually encountered in these places?
God, right?
Oh, we should be dead, dude. We should be dead 100 times over.
We might be. Who knows?
Maybe if we had, we wouldn't be torturing you with this podcast. Who knows how the future could have looked for you?
Also, you're welcome.
But we ended up going with the Blair Witch Project.
Yes, clearly.
Explain how this ended.
So for me, it was like, I kind of played with the rules a little bit here in terms of the tiebreaker. I went into this being like, of course I'm going to pick Paranormal Activity. It's, my favorite scary movie. And then, going through it, I was like, oh, fuck, this movie kind of sucks. And like, Blake could change my mind, but like, I didn't feel right about it. I needed a tiebreaker to pretty much, tell me it was okay to change my mind. Not say the words, but like give their opinion for me to be like, yeah, it's not just Blake convincing me. This is like an actual thing. So we called our tiebreaker, and she picked the Blair Witch Project, and then after we hung up with her, Blake was like, so was the Blair Witch Project your pick? I'm like, yeah, actually it was. I just needed someone else to say it so that I felt better about choosing it.
Well, this is my question I actually do have for you now with some time between this. If she would have said Paranormal Activity, would you have still said the Blair Witch Project?
Yes.
Really?
Yeah, because like I said, I had already changed my mind, and I just needed someone else to like validate that a little bit. But I feel like if she had said, I'm picking Paranormal Activity, because I'd have been like, oh, fuck, this is awkward.
Okay. Yeah, thanks for calling in. Your opinion doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It's a setup.
Pretty much.
But I'm glad we did come to a consensus. I think it was a fun episode at the end of the day, and I had a blast doing it, even though I still hold a little bit of a grudge against you for fucking making me watch that.
Listen, it's not my fault. It was a good movie when we were kids, and everybody fucking loved it, and it's a phenomenon, and then turns out it sucks.
It was the smart choice for the episode. You put the show in front of our friendship, and I appreciate you for that. Kind of.
Let's wrap this thing up.
So those were the episodes, right, for the season. But I have a couple wrap-up questions here.
Sure.
I want to know, like, legitimately, what was your favorite episode of the season? And you can define this however you want, whether it's your favorite to record and produce, or whether it's your favorite how it came out.
I'm gonna say episode 4, Halloween versus Scream.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just had such a fun time record. It just sticks out in my head. It was such a fun time recording that with you. I don't think I've laughed that hard ever. So I think it was the most fun like record session. Don't get me wrong, I love all the other episodes, but yeah, that one just sticks out to me a little bit.
Right on, man. I get that. And I have to say, mine is tied.
Okay.
I think I'd have to agree with you in terms of recording session. Episode 4, the slasher episode with Halloween Scream, is probably my favorite to record. It was such a good time. And you're right, I laughed so hard. I think my favorite episode, though, how it turned out, I think I'm going to have to give that to episode 6, our alien invasion horror episode. Because obviously, if you're hearing me now and you haven't heard that episode, I really enjoyed Science and I really like that movie.
Yeah.
But man, there's so much to make fun of.
There's a lot.
And it was so much fun. It was so much fun to goof off with and writing jokes that I think made you laugh pretty hard. It's always fun to do
agree.
that. So I think for me, but this season was full of some clunker ass movies. It was. Yes. What was your least favorite movie?
To be honest, there wasn't a single movie in here that I hated.
Yeah.
Aside from Escape from LA.
You know what? I kind of figured you'd say that, and I understand that because this is not your shtick at all. And I can get on board with some of the Escape from LA shenanigans. But for me, it's a Paranormal Activity.
Oh, of course.
All the characters didn't help themselves at all. They just fucking sat around doing nothing and filming it. And then we're like, why is this happening? It's like, dude, you did nothing.
To be fair.
Try to be fair. Okay.
Katie wanted to do things, but Mika actively prevented her from doing those things.
Yeah, no, sure. Mika is a fucking monster in and of himself. Yeah, but at the end of the day, she should have just done those things. She should have done something. They did nothing.
I agree with you.
And I hate the movie for doing that. I have to say F9 was a little close at first, but I did get something out of it. I got a lot of goofy ass stuff out of that movie. It was really weird, like bafflingly weird. And I thought it was going to be my least favorite. But honestly, probably second or third would probably definitely be Escape from LA as well.
Okay, fair enough.
But one last question.
Sure.
Despite all genres, do you have a favorite movie that we watched this season?
Yeah, Inception.
Okay.
It's in my top 3, of course. It's like literally, it's just everything about it. I mean, no, we actually made a lot of fun of it, especially fucking Leo's character. But like actually to the point where I was like, oh fuck.
Oh,
did I ruin this movie for myself?
Yeah, none of this stuff ruins these movies for me.
But no, yeah, it doesn't. It doesn't. Like just thinking about it right now, like I would watch it right now and enjoy the fuck out of it. It's by far of the movies that we had this season. It's by far my favorite.
For me, this was a season of discovery. I don't know if I could choose a favorite necessarily, but of all the ones, I think the most fun. Discovery, I guess I would have to say, because I love Inception. I really love Total Recall.
That was a really good one.
I really love Discovering Signs again. I liked Speed a lot too, but I'm gonna have to say Cloverfield was probably
I can see that
my favorite of the season. It was a lot of fun, and I'm just mad at myself that I haven't watched it sooner in my life. Really.
Well, you had a legit reason, so.
Yeah, that's a good point. But that wraps it up, man. I think this was a really fun first season, and I'm really...
Fantastic.
Dude, I'm so excited for season 2. We have so much good stuff. We have so many good movies.
Oh, man. Listen, if you enjoyed yourself from this first season, which if you're listening to this episode, I'm assuming you have. Otherwise, you are a masochist.
And wasting your time, for sure.
But listen, the slate of movies we have for season 2 is gonna blow you away. It's gonna be such a good season.
It's so true. And on top of that, before we get to season 2 on August 22nd, which is a Monday, we're also going to have a bonus episode come out to you guys. So it's a little bridge episode between seasons. We tried an episode of teen comedy. And that's when we realized we cannot do comedies on this show. It doesn't make sense. We've talked about this on our stream before, but we don't want to do comedy movies and then just repeat jokes to you all. I want to try to make Dave laugh. And Dave's trying to make me laugh, and I don't want to just repeat jokes. That's not fun. You guys wouldn't like it. I don't fucking like it. So we tried. We tried a teen comedy episode with Superbad from 2007 and Clueless, which I think was 95. We tried it, and we're still going to cut it, and we're still going to give it to you guys.
Release it,
the best we can. And you'll see, you'll literally hear the exact moment.
In real time.
Yeah, when we realize that this is not going to fucking work.
No.
So that's fun. So be on the lookout for that. That's going to be out August 22nd.
Yes.
But in the meantime, if you want some more of us, if you want to hang out with us, if you want to interact with us directly, we do stream every single week. We're on Twitch at first_prize_films. Give us a follow. Come hang out with us. Come talk shit to us and tell us that our choices and movie tastes are bad. Everybody has opinions on movies, and we want to hear yours.
They tell me that every single week, so it's fine.
It's Shit on Dave, the Twitch stream.
And we might actually do a couple streams per week here, during the break. But yeah.
Keep an eye out. Follow us on Twitch. But also follow us on social media. We're at First Prize Pod.
Yeah, and we also have a website, firstprizefilms.com. It's pretty self-explanatory, but it has some extra shit in there, little bios and stuff about who me and Blake are, but it does have the links to all the stuff and where you can listen to episodes, even though you're listening here. Anyway, after that, though, we will be back with Season 2, September 19th.
Yes. But anyway, thank you all so much for the support. This has been greater than we could have absolutely ever imagined. We love you all, and we cannot wait to hear from you in Season 2. It's going to be such a freaking blast.
Yes. Thank you. We love you so much, and we will catch you in Season 2.
What?